Peace, everyone. I hope you are very well, wherever you may be. Welcome back if you are returning to the channel, and if this is your first time visiting, welcome. This mini-series is dedicated to exploring infinite potential, and we are reviewing in depth the manuscript Peaks and Valleys, which is a recent publication that I released in November 2024. This material is specifically designed to attune the individual to go within and unravel the boundless creative potential, which is the self-contemplation, the perpetual self-contemplation of the life spirit and the divine life force intelligence that flows through the consciousness within all. So we're going to continue the exploration of this manuscript, Peaks and Valleys, and I have another publication titled Synchronous Universe, which is available already if you want to jump ahead, but stick around, stay tuned. Please check out these previous videos. All of these are going to interweave one another, and you'll be able to gather nuggets from each of these videos. I do encourage anybody and everybody who has insights to share. Please comment. Please leave any questions that you have with me. There's a Patreon community that's free to join if you would like to message me there. You can message me here on YouTube, and if you would like to support, of course, the books are available for you in paperback. Both are available in paperback, physical copy, and the links are below in the comments. So again, you don't have to at all purchase anything. Just stick around, and we're going to go in depth and explore this material on this channel. There's so much more to come. I have so much to elaborate on, and I'm excited to do it. However, there are steps that I have to take in my own learning course of just being able to present and honorably convey this material. So bear with me as well, as I am just as much a student as you. And we are here to help each other. Remember, we're learning together. So without further ado, let me jump into chapter 6 is where we are beginning today. Again, please refer to any of the previous videos, and you don't have to watch them in sequence of the number. Just wherever you're guided, explore this mini-series and this playlist, and you'll be sure to expand on some of the pre-existing thoughts that you have. So chapter 6, we will read some. I believe this chapter is relatively short, and depending on how much we get into it today, we may complete the chapter or we may leave the rest of it for the next video. So let's get right into it. Please, if you would like to take any notes, have your pen, have your papyrus available, and here we go. Chapter 6, Protecting Life Force. The first portion of this chapter is in regards to the protection of sexual energies, reproductive organs, and sacred fluids of the individual. The demiurge, mentioned earlier, exists in the lower planes and traps energy in the lower aspects of the human being. The demiurge assimilates looping patterns, usually consisting of all weakening forms of pleasure, gratification, and comfort, exhausting the spirit and altering vibrational frequencies of the individual to an unstable and imbalanced state, weakening electromagnetic fields, biological and neurological systems, and their functioning. All right. Because I'm going to read this one more time. I read things multiple times just to say I think it's important to go over things multiple times, but I'm going to read this again. So just so you know, I'm reading the same thing twice. Protecting life force. The first portion of this chapter is in regards to the protection of sexual energies, reproductive organs, and sacred fluids of the individual. The demiurge, mentioned earlier, exists in the lower planes and traps energy in the lower aspects of the human being. The demiurge assimilates looping patterns, usually consisting of all weakening forms of pleasure, gratification, and comfort, exhausting the spirit and altering. Listen to this, guys. Exhausting the spirit and altering vibrational frequencies of the individual to an unstable and imbalanced state, weakening electromagnetic fields, biological and neurological systems, and their functioning. We have, again, explored through different avenues in this manuscript and in these videos in this series, many different perspectives in which I'm explaining and sharing and conveying now. So please, I encourage everybody to check out some of the other videos as well. This all ties together and all is within you. This is a critical note for the reader as one develops a relationship with their partner and harmonious efforts are conducted for successful conception. This is also assistive to the relationship one has with self in raising awareness with spirit to protect prana from the lower possessive forces of lust and refraining from engaging in non-meaningful sex or vacuous relationships or tending to parasitic organisms seeking your life force energy. You see how vitally important this material is, and you can implement and integrate these strategies that apply best for you in order to shift the subconscious and reprogram the consciousness to assimilate machinations that fit you for optimized health and well-being. As for application, the first chapter, Getting Closer to God, details key codes for the material of the entire book. This is not designed to be confusing or to shift the student into another paradigm of thinking. This is designed to empower the will of the creative process of the individual, awaken the divine life spirit to further expansion across the universe inside the mind and consciousness of the alchemist. Your transmutability is your creative life force and quite literally responsibility within. That is your ability to respond and developing a deep relationship with that ability, having instantaneous communication, and being able to balance out your life force energy in any moment that may present a challenge or obstacle, which is many. This happens on a day-to-day basis, right? Again, guys, this is designed to empower the will of the creative process of the individual, awaken the divine life spirit to further expansions across the universe inside the mind and consciousness of the alchemist. Your transmutability is that is transmuting, meaning in the human, that would be your regeneration. That would be your ability of regeneration and creation. Your transmutability, your creative life force, and quite literally the ability to respond. The responsibility within. Every instance, the individual discharges sexual and reproductive fluids without pure intention. Life essence is negatively exhausted instead of preserved. Continuously retrieving and depleting from the potent prana reservoir in the body leads to a stagnation or pattern loop, blocking energy flow, specifically in the second chakra, the sacral. And really, it's a disruption entirely to our natural biorhythmic operations. And of course, this is inverting what love is in the first place. And of course, they've inverted frequency of words through rituals for a long time now. And the efforts have not minimized. And if anything, they have intensified via the mediums of this contemporary use of technology or abuse of technology, depending on which way you perceive it. I'm sure it's both, right? And we're talking about the natural distraction that leads to a decrease in inner awareness. Simplified. That's simplified. So this is noted as a specific energy center for the individual who is making conscious efforts to heal and balance this area of themselves. What is that? You're putting your frequency of thought, your intention into a specific area of your body, which is constantly carrying out divine machination, and you're taking the frequency of healing, of thoughts, of well-being, and applying it directly to certain parts of your body. You don't just do this mentally. This does get carried out as well through physical exercise, and also being aware of what you're consuming, not just physical consumption, but mental consumption as well. All of these things are interconnected and are part of the divine machinations, beginning with the spiritual and following in its lowest manifestation, the physical construct, the simulacrum, which is just the projection or reflection of what is being intelligently communicated through the spiritual realms, the lighter densities, the subtle bodies, the causal bodies that are performing these machinations that bring the physical construct to its materialist essence. That is just different forms of congealed energies or molecules, elements, as all combinations of the periodic table. And mention too, all organic matter is crystallized. Everything is crystallography is driven through crystalline molecular geometries. Energy and frequency move through these patterns, and these relationships are the interconnectedness that is moving through the spiritual lighter densities and forming themselves and shaping themselves into a physicality in this projection here. this physical realm. So again, if this stuff, please rewatch some of these videos. If any of this doesn't make sense too, please reach out to me with any questions, comments, or concerns. I think we're at a good flow, so let's keep on flowing. Notice that the student is not suggested to separate or remove themselves from feelings in the lower chakra centers, including the solar plexus, your gut, which is your second brain, relating to will, personal power, self-identification, metabolism, eating, self-esteem, directly attached to the cerebrum by the vagus nerve, which is the vagus is a very attacked place in the body that they are specifically trying to weaken for these reasons that we are mentioning here, the importance of it. And the enteric system, again, our second brain, the gut, the root chakra, the base of the spine, controlling vitality, stability, security. And as previously mentioned, the sacral chakra behind the belly button, relating to sexuality, pleasure, relationships, empathy, and creativity. You see these divine machinations working within prana, which is your total system of life force energy that's surging through your being, the nature of the nature of the human being. These are divine machinations in a perpetual fluidity. And how they are operating is they're interconnected and communicating and corresponding intelligently. The soul journey consists of balancing all 7 of these powerful faculties of human consciousness through honorable creative expressions of action and spirit, the contemplation of self, requiring increasing efforts of the individual to willfully work with both spiritual and material aspects of the nature of their being. You're welcome to pause this video at any point in time to jot down the notes, which I would suggest to do here. And the reason I am presenting it like this is because a lot of the mainstream that I have peeped into, just to see what people are talking about, killing the ego or just becoming like the chosen one. And I know that people have different definitions for how they interpret that phrase, but it's become dangerous in these algorithms. And as I can see, they don't play out well. They get grifted on. These phrases get grifts behind them and shills behind them. So this is just something to bring into your awareness as I'm discussing this. You'll see me not trending off and using phrases off of trends that are in the algorithm. Actually, I study them. I'm zoomed out. I look down. I'm not trying to build this. I'm not interested in that. I'm trying to help the people that wish to help themselves. And through this course of expansion of consciousness and helping each other remember this in the process, there are other individuals that put their efforts and willpower into presenting this in their own unraveling of their creative potential, their own essence, their own life spirit essence. And it has really helped me and other people build the energy to share this honorably, because a lot of this material gets thrown away and disposed because people are so caught up in the mainstream of all this programming. It's just trying to tell you how things are, which is you not going within to unravel your own truth. It's the opposite. And this is the distraction that feeds on the external planes. That's purely Archon forces trying to get you to make this, when there's a fork in the road, instead of you going within to make these decisions, they're trying to persuade you that this is the right decision and this is the way you need to go. And it's constant. Obviously, this bombardment is a strategic effort placed by the mainstream. So just to keep the efforts of the media in mind as we present this material, and why these algorithms trend certain things at certain times, and how it's all scripted and controlled. In all our control, what our prana can do, what we can do with our prana and life forces, consists of primarily from within. And with that effort, intention, it emerges naturally. That is the natural flow and course of the life spirit as it emanates in the physical. These are just structures of emanation that, down to the lowest construct, the physical, is how our senses retrieve and receive. The physical senses that we're plugged into this construct with. So again, this comes into the individual putting these efforts in. This is a daily effort. This isn't one day a week where you go to a place and pray. No, this is every moment. When you wake up, you have the ability to tune your mind to healing parts of you and redesigning and reforming and reshaping and reprogramming the subconscious with affirmation and influence, with exercise, mental and physical, both required. This is just what it's noting. Willfully work with both the spiritual and the material, the animal, the bestial nature. It's the following cause of the formative, which is your spiritual. So they're interwoven. There's neither is to be neglected here. Hope you guys are enjoying the presentation today. Just a quick reminder, if you are here still, please consider like, share, or subscribe. This is tremendously, significantly helping the channel, and it means the world to have you, to know that there are other people out here that care. I'll leave it at that. I think you know what I'm saying. All right, let's keep going. Additionally, resourcing the higher intelligence force to harness these faculties into the field of creation through the electromagnetism of the heart. These are our attractive forces. This is our thought frequency attracting all that is that we perceive as our reality. Equilibrium. Well, let me go back. Sorry, I cut that sentence off with my thoughts. Additionally, resourcing the higher intelligence forces to harness these faculties into the field of creation through the electromagnetism of the heart, equilibrium, the most potent and powerful toroidal biofield produced by human consciousness. Third, utilizing thought frequencies and feeling emotions, energy, and motion with intentions to keep the vibrational fields of the bioelectromagnetic currents healthy and balanced. So we're not giving our life force energy into these indulgent, looping, stagnating patterns of these distracting fields that are taking us from the developing awareness of our internal divine machinations and our internal life force and consciousness fields. In efforts to keep the contents of this material in an easy digestible format, rather than repeating certain notes in greater detail, I, the author, humbly leave the true expansion process outside of the contents of these pages for you. After all, these are simply guide notes for the student to reference during the life endeavors one may be challenged by. The chapter pertaining to synchronistic awareness and pattern recognition will assist with detecting the synchronous universe from within at thy will, enabling expansion of the spirit and giving one agency of personal energy patterns inside the matrix construct, Mother Earth. Here, I'll go back, guys. You're welcome to pause this here. I'm going to leave that up for 10 seconds or so. You can pause the video. You have the frame, at least. All right. Oops. Now we have made it to chapter 7, so I'm going to take that off. So we'll save chapter 7 for the next video or two. By the way, we are getting close to closing out this manuscript, so I think in the future I might go back over this. I don't know. I don't want it to be redundant. I want it to be an expansion course, but I know that everybody that tunes into this at different points of time will be in different degrees of gnosis. So I may feel obligated to go back over this manuscript again in the future. I will also sort of base that off of how people respond to me or reach out or whatever, comment on what is going on internally with them. So as people share their insights, I will have a better acknowledgement of where I can direct my intention and focus concerning this material in the future. So I'm going to work to expand this for everyone, as well as on my own course of learning as a student of life university, and trying to honorably convey this as clearly as possible. I do encourage people to go outside of their comfort zones, to stay open-minded, to interweave things that you may have not been interested in because it was too complicated or whatever. I promise it's not. This is part of the understanding of the divine machinations that are perpetually flowing through us. It sounds like it is complicated, but it's not. So take your time and create these inner faculties with purpose, and the continuation of your life spirit, the self-contemplation of your life force energy is perpetual, and you need not look outside ever to obtain that connection. It's always in movement. It's always in motion. The course of this material is designed to help us develop these relationships and understand the awareness that we can have to communicate and convene with these machinations, and not look at things so externally and let them influence us and have such a big determination in how we see this physical construct. And of course, this is going to the understanding that this is the outer world is a mere reflection of your inner world. So it's the projection, it's the simulacrum, the physical projection of what's going on. Your eyes aren't even, your internal, in here is where the conduction of the photoreception of light, sensory, of light signal, light frequency is processed. It's not out here. So none of it's being actually done out here. So this just to take the note that the entire course of this and all of what I'm presenting is, a lot of it is non-physical. The physical aspect of it is its lowest counterpart. It's its material counterpart. Or in its dualistic nature, its material aspect. So hopefully this was a good chapter. Go back and replay this video as much as is necessary until these pieces of the puzzle fit with what you're working on. And if it doesn't align, then go watch something that tickles your whatever. You'll be entertained. You'll find that you can instantaneously, in a pure light, be with gratitude and need not search for that trying to fill an empty void of happiness. It's already built in with you, the breath that you're given. Going through pain and challenge here is done. Like, think about your mother who delivered you and how much pain. This is the first page of the book. How much pain immediately they're going through. Of course, afterwards, after they give, delivery, albeit healthy, a healthy delivery, and the reward, or let's just say the other side of the coin that is immediate, is pure joy, like pure love, pure consciousness, pure life, is right on the other side of that coin of that violent pain. It's the baby's kicking and trying to get out, take its breath. It's ready to take its breath of life. So the organizing intelligences that are making these divine happenings is the spiritual formative causes that pronounce themselves evidently to our physical senses in this lower material realm. So we are understanding the development of our interdimensional occurrences or machinations that are perpetually in efforts to maintain your well-being. And our ability to respond to these machinations, these correspondences and intelligent forces, is our God-given spiritual ability. That is our ability to respond. So again, I've mentioned in other videos, you don't have to go buy any equipment or any special tools to enact, to implement, and develop your own techniques to expand on your astral travel, expand on your development and facilitation of your consciousness, your well-being, your life force energy, and learning how to have 100% agency over your thought frequencies, so you're not getting distracted in this field where we are being bombarded, spiritually bombarded by distraction. It's being designed like that for a very specific purpose, to keep the conformity and docile aspect in society, and the dependency, the consumerist mindset, all of these things are interwoven into the embedment of the algorithms and the trends and the television. So let's just take these notes. I don't want to just keep on going and going. I think that I do leave enough to ponder, so I don't want to overwhelm anybody with just spitting off gnosis. I would rather chop it up. Again, this is to be a utility in your tool belt of consciousness. You utilize this at your will, and you know that you have boundless potential within. This isn't me giving, we're just reminding each other. That's all we're doing here. Helping each other remember. This is a wonderful book for any age too. This isn't, I just wanted to say, I don't want to plug myself, but I suppose I sort of will at the end of this, but for even younger kids, this is, I designed it. I know that some of it may seem a little bit more like whatever, but I am sure that this would be well integrated to the young spirit that is interested. 1,000,000%. If you're not interested, that's because we're allowing these distractions to fill our glutton, to fill our voids of lust, these empty holes that the powers that be in the mainstream embed into the subliminal messaging, into the scripts, into the film, into the music. Think about the mainstream music. We know this. There's plenty of people too also that cover this. I'm just looking at it from a spiritual, psychological level, from the individual's capability and attunement to build our internal awareness, rather than continuing to give the people that are putting this black magic in subconscious messaging out a break. I know this has been going on. I don't even really watch film. I don't listen to music mostly, because words are spells. If anything, it's more instrumentation and letting the sound of a guitar speak words for itself, if that makes sense. The soul of the individual plays through the instrument, rather than using words to program spells behind the music, which makes it all the more stronger. And people think they're spending hundreds of millions of dollars to entertain your ass. Think again. It's called programming for a reason. All right, family. I think I'm going to wrap this up here. So I really appreciate, again, everybody sticking around. Please reach out with any questions, comments, or concerns. I wish everybody a wonderful rest of your week. And please take care in your endeavors. And with that being said, I will see you in another video. Much love. Peace.